Welcome to Hanging with the Hoopers podcast. Enjoy our speaker spotlight.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hanging with the Hoopers podcast. Tim and Andrew Hooper, your hosts, where we believe the attitude of leadership is everything, and it makes a huge difference for your life, for your business. And we are excited, Andrew, to have Chelsea Peitz on with us. Massive influence. I love following you over on Instagram, Chelsea. I'm sure you're all sorts of other places as well. But you've challenged me to think about marketing in so many different ways, social media in so many different ways. And we're excited to have you on. We're excited to have you out in January to our Energize Conference, talking about the reputation roadmap. So we'll get into some of that today, but welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about some of my favorite topics.
I love it. Chelsea, we met, I think, 5 or 6 months ago for the first time. And when we joined Fidelity, and so we're going to be hosting a conference for all our title agents and title attorneys out here in the Mid-Atlantic, 2 days, January 17th, January 18th. And you're coming out, you're going to be kicking off both days. So tell us a little bit about what you're bringing to the conferences for our guests. We're so thrilled to have you coming out. So thank you, first of all, for being willing to make the trek out from Arizona to the East Coast in the middle of January. Oh my goodness!
Absolutely, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the chill in the air coming from Arizona, and I'm really excited to be talking about how to really build an uncopy-pasteable brand and create a personal brand that is not only relevant, but relatable and referable, because no matter what business you're in, you have a brand, whether you believe that you do or you don't. And with social media being so prominent in 2024 and beyond, we are always going to be using some form of technology, just like you and I are here, where we're on Riverside, which has a video interface. It could be Zoom, it could be Skype, it could be Teams, it could be FaceTime, it could be Instagram Live. We will forever, until the end of our careers, be using some form of technology to actually connect with other human beings on the other side of the screen. So we're going to be talking really about addressing the fear that a lot of us have when it comes to using social media. How do we actually use social media without feeling exposed? Meaning, how do we create content that is captivating and compelling and humanizing without oversharing or being too personal? We also feel really awkward and misaligned and honestly vulnerable when it comes to creating content, especially videos with us in it, about us, talking about ourselves, and sharing it out for the world to see and potentially have an opinion on. And then, of course, I think there's quite a few of us that, I've been in this business for 24 years. That was well before social media existed. And I think a lot of our audience is feeling honestly a bit resentful that in 2024, after they've had, decades of work experience helping people and, making a really amazing experience for their clients, that they may feel the pressure of now becoming a full-time digital content creator and making TikToks in order to be successful and creating content first and serving clients second. Yep. And so there's a lot of big feelings and emotions that we're going to be tackling in mindsets when we're talking about the reputation roadmap and how to systematically create a way to define your personal brand and also create content that is going to serve your clients and market with heart and humanity, not hustle or hacks.
I love that. And I was going to Chelsea, when I met you, one of the phrases that stood out to me that you said, and I think you just spoke to it, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you said something about tactics versus strategy. And so take us into that. So when you talk, what is because I think a lot of our folks out here have gone to different trainings or seminars where a lot of stuff is talked about. And one of my favorite quotes is, more gets said than done. In the end, more is said than done. And so we're all about getting things done. It's kind of the whole crux. So how are you going to help everyone attending really have a plan of action when it comes first that tactics to strategy? Because I love your quote on that.
One of the things that I just absolutely couldn't stand, because I am a student forever learning, and I love going to conferences and master classes and intimate, settings that you're going to have like this. And I would walk away being so frustrated because they would have this great title, a great headline, the bullet points of the takeaways that you were going to get, these actionable items. And then somebody was getting up there talking about, you've got to provide value. You've got to be authentic. And I was like, okay, but like what? And how do we do that?
Yep.
So we're going to give really a lot of tactical, strategic, and actionable concepts. And here's the difference between a strategy and a tactic. And I recently was just talking about this. I truly believe in serving your purpose, not just the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that we can easily get caught up in serving the platform, i.e., meaning looking at tactics like how many hashtags should I use? How should I edit this? Should I make this video shorter so that I get more views and more watch time? Those are actions that you take. But if you don't have a strategy, which not a lot of people talk about, because let's be honest, it's harder to define and it is a lot harder to measure.
Yep.
Tactics work quickly. They are easy to measure. You could make a 3-second reel instead of a 30-second reel and easily see right away if you got more views on it. But what
Yep.
does that really mean to your business?
Yeah.
So we are going to talk a lot about the strategy side of it and what meaningful metrics actually are, and how you can continue to serve your purpose or your ideal customer and your central message, which means you have to be self-aware and you have to know what that central message is. And that's a really hard thing to do. So we'll cover some of that as well. So when you're communicating online with your content, you're not getting wrapped up and discouraged and disappointed by the metrics, because not every metric is meaningful to your business and or your mental health.
I love that.
I love how you break that down too. It's interesting because I help companies put visions together and sales professionals put a vision board together. And the reason I start with vision is so many people come up with goals and they get lost. They fall off track. They stop doing them. And because the goal is more of the doing, the vision is more of the being. And as you described the difference between strategy and tactic is more the doing. Strategy is more the being, who you are. What voice do you have? What message do you want to start communicating? How do you want to do it different? How are we going to distribute differently? How are we going to incorporate our referral partners into this distribution differently? And just the strategy. And I tell people it is harder to come up with the vision, the being, because it's hard. It's harder to put tangible. It's new. It's maybe not invented yet. It's not done yet. Whereas the tactic is what everyone else is doing. Maybe the goal is, I want to go get this much revenue. Everyone else is doing that. Well, what are some new ways of doing that, right? So I love how you broke that down. There are some strategies, I believe, that title companies can really think about, new ways of doing things that if they'll take the time. So I love that, Chelsea. And I'm excited. Energize is going to be so powerful. Obviously, you're kicking it off, both locations, Columbia and Richmond. So I'm excited. And I've heard you. Everyone listening to this, Chelsea is not the fluff marketing. You need to go get on every platform. In fact, Chelsea, you did a post the other day about less is more. And you are going to be intentional going into 2024 with actually getting less views on your content. Do you want to tell us about that just for a second? Because I think that contrarian view was so refreshing for me, but it's so intentional, so focused, and you're going to generate more business from it.
Yeah, I created this post that said why I'm creating content that gets less reach and less views on purpose. And the sentiment behind that simply is I'm very laser focused on the person that I want to serve. It is not everyone. And it is very scary to think about niching down with a message to find that one person, because in a world where it's not guaranteed where that next income is, it can be very nerve-wracking to think, well, gosh, what if I don't take this? What if I don't attract as many people as I possibly can? How am I going to reach my financial goals? And so my goal isn't to reach as many people as possible. If I wanted to do that, I know the exact tactics to get there. But when you're only using tactics and not the strategy, which part of the strategy is one, self-awareness about what is your unique way of doing things. And you can only look at that through your lens of your perspective, your personality, your lived experience, and your stories, which, by the way, are the only original content on the planet. And then you have to look at those different aspects and decide, who am I really talking to? And not just who am I talking to, like, how do these people feel when they need to work with me? Maybe they're feeling resentful, like I talked about earlier. I know my clients feeling resentful because they've had a really thriving real estate career for 2 decades and they haven't made TikToks and they don't want to make TikToks and they're not comfortable with that. So knowing that has really helped me connect with the exact person that I know I can help.
Wow.
And so I purposely make content for those few, because those few are going to be the ones that say, I want to work with you. I want to do business with you. The masses, a couple of people may do business, but why do I care if I get 30,000 views and I get 0 conversions? I'd rather have 30 views
Good.
and 3 conversions. So it's really about focusing on the opposite of what all these other gurus are talking about. And yes, going viral and all that. Is going viral putting dollars in your pocket? Only if you are a social media influencer.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
So good.
Exactly. Very powerful. I love that I said that we were doing a talk with a bunch of real estate agents 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now. And someone had a video that went viral. And we just asked them, like, did you get any deals off of that video? Nope, they didn't. So I love it. I'm excited. This is going to be powerful. Everybody listening, if you're not registered for Energize yet, get registered. The link is going to be somewhere in and around this video. Chelsea, we're excited to have you out again, January 17th and 18th. Thank you for jumping on with us today. You're incredible. Thank you.
I can't wait to see everybody. Please make sure that you get your ticket, because I know we're already almost sold out in one location. So please make sure that you join ASAP, because I would love to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. See you in January, everybody. Chelsea, thank you so much. Thank you for having a voice that I can trust, that we could trust. And I cannot wait to learn how to be relevant, relatable, and referable using social media. Can't wait for your talk.